A country is uploading itself to the cloud, not just its documents, its entire nation, because in less than 25 years, it might not exist on Earth anymore. This is Tuvalu, a Pacific island nation that's slowly sinking into the sea. And they're not just waiting to drown, they're fighting back in ways no country ever has. But to understand why Tuvalu is doing something this radical, you first need to understand what it's up against and how this tiny, quiet place might change the meaning of countries, identity, and survival forever. Picture this. You wake up in a place where the ocean is always at your doorstep, where the highest point of land is just 4 meters above sea level. Welcome to Tuvalu. 9 coral islands, 11,000 people, 1 airport, 1 hospital, no rivers, no mountains, just lagoons, palm trees, and ocean everywhere. But the ocean isn't calm anymore. It's rising fast. Salt water is flooding crops. Floods are washing through neighborhoods. Drinking water is turning brackish. And land is disappearing. Every year the sea creeps in a little closer. So how long until it's too late? Scientists say Tuvalu could be uninhabitable by the year 2050. That doesn't mean it's totally underwater. It means people just can't live there anymore. No food, no fresh water, no electricity, no safety. And yet, the people of Tuvalu aren't leaving. Not yet. They're doing something most countries wouldn't even dare to try. But before we get to that, here's a question. If your entire country disappears, do you stop existing? Tuvalu says, not a chance. Tuvalu is turning itself into the world's first digital nation. Yes, really, they're scanning every building, mapping every street, recording every tradition, every dance, every story. They're recreating Tuvalu in cyberspace, a full-scale version of the country, online. And not just as a museum, but as a real, functioning government, one that can hold elections, manage services, even issue passports from the cloud. The goal? To keep Tuvalu alive, even if the land is gone. And this next part is hard to believe. Tuvaluans don't just want a digital copy of their country, they want their identity to survive. And that's harder than uploading files, because their culture is tied to the land. Fishing rituals, canoe making, village ceremonies, all connected to the sea, the soil, the sand. Can that exist in a metaverse? One Tuvaluan put it best. I don't want to be a citizen of a floating memory, but they're trying. Recording songs, archiving oral history, even scanning ancestral homes into 3D models. Because if they don't, who will remember? But that's not the only fight they're in. Tuvalu is making history again. They're negotiating migration deals for the entire nation, not just for individuals, for whole communities to move together, to places like Australia or New Zealand. Think about that, an entire people migrating as a sovereign nation, with their own language, schools, faith, flag. It could be the model for future climate refugees, and there could be millions. But how do you keep a country alive when it's spread across other countries? That challenge gets even more political. Tuvalu may be small, but it matters a lot. Why? Because in the United Nations, every country gets 1 vote, and major powers, China, Taiwan, the US, Australia, are all paying attention. China has tried to woo Tuvalu, so have others, because alliances with small Pacific nations help build global influence. And Tuvalu knows this. They're using their voice to demand climate action, saying, if you want our vote, help us survive. But while diplomacy plays out in boardrooms, Tuvalu is also building physically. Tuvalu isn't just planning to leave, they're trying to raise the land, literally. With the help of countries like Japan, they're importing sand, raising parts of the capital, building seawalls, planting mangroves, blocking erosion. It's a race against time, a race against tides. They know it won't last forever, but every extra year, every dry road, every school that stays open matters, because they're not just building land, they're building a future. And that brings us to the heart of it all. Tuvalu is fighting to survive, not just as a dot on a map, but as a people, a culture, a country. They're building seawalls, negotiating global deals, and uploading their very identity to the internet. This is more than climate change. This is a new chapter in human history, a nation without a land, but with something stronger, a will to exist, a voice that refuses to go silent, and a message for the world. If we can survive, what's your excuse?